This podcast is brought to you by Green Cross. Green Cross is committed to quality CBD products, education, and trust. Go to greencross.com for all your CDB needs. Use coupon code Gabe Molina.
You're listening to the Gabe Molina podcast.
Well, I don't know which one of you ought to kick in the balls first or making me wake up so early, but it's 7:30 in the morning. Was it his idea?
No, so I'll tell you how it went down. I said, yeah, let's get it early. I just meant like before noon.
Yeah.
And then he texted me, hey, Gabe said 7 in the morning school. I said, all right, cool.
Yeah. When he texted me, I felt super peer pressured.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's like, hey, let's do 7. And I'm like, man, I can't.
Oh, okay. So that's what I'm saying is he made it sound like it was your idea.
I know. So I think, Austin told me that I'm okay with doing early. And I threw back that, okay, let's do 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm not scared. And I was like, shit.
That's the exact mentality that I had. I was like, well, I'm not scared. And then this morning,
like, you're not, yeah, I'll get up early. I'll do it.
So when I sent you that message, I was like, yeah, you cool with this? And I was like, shit. All right. It's like, I have to be cool with this.
So nobody wanted to come in this early, just peer
I don't
pressure.
think so.
We you
all
know what, though? It was nice sitting on the porch while the sun was rising.
Yeah.
So I can't complain.
Well, even getting over here early and getting on the road, no traffic.
Oh, that's nice.
It's not 800 degrees outside.
Yeah.
So that's been pretty cool.
And we get to see the nice little sunrise.
Yeah, I don't know if there was any deer out here this morning, but a lot of times they walk up and down this little fence line or something. Yeah. But typically maybe when there's water.
Yeah, so I don't know who you want to blame for this one, but.
Well, I think it's all three.
Well, I think we'll take thirds.
We all had a little part.
I'll take thirds.
I'll do it. I'm not no bitch. I'll do it.
Yeah, that's exactly my mentality. I thought I was like, I'm being tested. I said, don't fail. Last night, I think I was telling y'all earlier, we went to this, there's these girls that I've recorded a couple of things with, and they're a mariachi group, and they put on a little show at a place called Cuba 1918. And let me tell you what, man, the venue was kind of cool. The location of the venue is kind of rough. Is down General McMullen, down in that area. It's pretty rough. It looked rough. We didn't see anything sketchy, but typically, I don't go to a lot of stuff. I'm a homebody. I like to do my thing at the house. And we ended up going to this show, and my buddy calls, and the buddy I was telling y'all about earlier. And he's like, hey, man, I got a table already. And he's always bullshitting, man. He's like, I paid extra for the table, blah, blah, blah. And we got in there, it was pretty packed. And it was funny because I got in there, and I told my wife, I said, we'll be there an hour. I said, I got to get up early tomorrow. We'll only be there an hour. We walked in there, and they had way too much furniture, tables and chairs. So literally, I mean, if there was a spot to walk that big, that was that wide as that chair, there was 2 chairs in that spot.
Oh, shit.
So, like, even to get to where I needed to go, I had to move shit around, And so I remember we sat down, and I was like, I'm the type of person that I like to have an outlet, right? I like to go, okay, well, this is, if I got to get out of here, if I get a little anxiety or panic attack, this is my way out of here. I didn't have one last night, man. So I told my buddy, I said, I don't know. I said, I was going to leave. He goes, I thought you were going to leave early. I said, man, I wanted to. I said, but we're going to have to move some furniture to get me the fuck out of here.
There wasn't an escape problem.
No. So we ended up staying. We didn't stay for the whole thing, but we ended up leaving kind of early.
That's big people problems.
Oh, man. At one point, they did take a full table and 4 chairs and put them outside. Because even the wait staff couldn't get to people on the other side. But it was a cool little venue. The food was good. I had never really had Cuban food before.
What's Cuban food?
You know what?
Tropical Mexican food or what?
This is there's some rice and black beans and stuff like that.
Right. Rice and beans, I got that.
But you know what's funny? And I told them this last night. I said I really like this food, but I think I like poor people food, which is very starchy.
Yeah.
A lot of beans, a lot of rice.
Gets you full quick.
Yes, that kind of stuff. Like even they had these little plantain biscuits that I guess they would make in the mush and then they would bake them, so they were like a little biscuit. It was like eating the bread on a fucking gordita, So that's the consistency and kind of, only that's corn. This is, I think, like a plantain. There's some other weird stuff that I didn't like, but it was all right. It was
tropical Mexican food, I guess.
Yeah, like, and just, parts of the animal that you don't typically eat. That's super Mexican.
Yeah.
When I was
What's that though? It's the foot and the guts.
Yeah.
Just don't look at it.
I tell you a funny story. My grandmother used to live with us before she passed away years ago. We were kids in high school, and Dad would make we're gonna freak Ryan out. Dad would make
It's about the Mexican.
the cow head, in the fucking roaster. And so he'd wrap it up, buy the cow head, and they'd wrap it up, season it, throw in the roaster outside because it's gonna cook for hours. And grandma was real sick, but she always ate like crazy shit. And I remember one time we couldn't find her. I was like, "Where's Grandma?" And so me and my brother Vidal were walking around looking for Grandma, and we heard the lid of the roaster, So we go out there. That thing had just got put in, man, 20 minutes maybe. And she's out there with a fork digging the eyes out.
Hell yeah.
We're like, "Grandma, don't eat that. That's gross."
Put it on a tortilla.
Oh, it was crazy. She'd throw that in a slice of bread. It was funny because my grandmother always liked, she called it the cola, which was the end of the butt of the bread. And so she always wanted that first. So, Mom would go buy a loaf of bread. She'd bring it in. And you'd go to make a sandwich, and all the bread's fucked up in the bag. It's like, what the fuck happened to the bread? Well, Grandma would get the first cola out, and she'd start pulling all the bread out to get the second.
The last one. That's like old people shit where you can't tell them nothing. Right?
You gotta let them do it.
You just gotta let them do it. They're just that old. You're just like,
Yeah, I was like, leave Grandma alone.
That's Grandma.
She'd always do that thing too. Instead of shooting you the fingers.
Oh shit!
I see you got some new ink, man. What is that?
So I got to come and take it.
Nice, man. That's a big fucking arm.
Yeah, I know. It's my Texas arm, Alamo, the flag, I-10. I grew up in Tucson, and here runs right through it. I got the Longhorn, because why not?
Yeah.
This is supposed to be the yellow rose.
No, it looks
and
good.
Then the blue bonnet.
That looks good, man.
Yeah.
Who did your stuff?
Mario, all Mario.
Did he do it all?
Yeah.
Man, it looks really sharp.
Yeah.
And that cow too. You can
I'm not filling in the Texas.
No, you can leave it. You can leave it open?
That's just the way it is. Yeah, everyone's like, "You're gonna put color, you're gonna fill it in." No, that's a part of the art.
Yeah. No, that's badass.
Yeah.
That's cool. You get anything new?
Actually, Mario did touched up my arm.
Oh, that's right. I did see that when you were at Evolve the other day.
So
hey, this motherfucker hangs out at Evolve no shirt on the whole fucking time. He's not even doing anything.
He don't work there no more, but he works there. He's just there.
Yeah, I saw him the other day. He's just walking around with no shirt, and I was like, dude, put a fucking shirt on. Nobody else has one off. But I mean, he's got the body for it, so fuck. Go ahead.
He's like that employee that won't leave. You're like, bro, just you quit already.
dude, I did that before I started working there, and now that I'm not working there, I'm still doing that.
You still doing How long were you working there before?
I was working there for a year, a little over a year and a half, I think.
What was your job when you were over there? Were you doing kind of therapy type stuff?
Everything. So when you have a job there, you're pretty much just doing your folding towels, you're doing maintenance, you're doing janitor work, but you're doing mainly customer service and making sure everybody can use the modalities and how to use them safely. Yeah. And helping set them up.
Do you get a lot of people, like, because when I'm the type of person, like, I'll go into a place and I'm like, I know how to use everything here. I don't need to ask. Do you find that people do that when they go to places like that?
It's hilarious. And then you're walking in, they're like, they got a leg sleeve on their arm.
Yeah.
Like I told you to ask questions.
The best thing is like when I do my when I usually did my tours, I always got the same answer. It's like, dude, I don't know what the fuck is even in here anymore. Yeah. I'm like mind blown. It's like that's the point. So if you have any questions, just let me know. And yeah, the leg sleeves they would put arm sleeves on the leg. Really? And they'd be like, yeah, this doesn't feel right. And I was like, well, I told you. To ask. And then the things that they don't need to ask, like the things that they don't need to ask questions for, they usually ask questions. But the things that they do need to ask questions, like the tri-vibe or the cold compression, it always on there, it says, ask for assistance. No one asks for assistance. They just do it. Yeah.
But they ask you, how do I get in the cold tub? You're like,
oh. Well, take a shower first.
Yeah.
That's the first one.
But what is the difference between the I guess the cold compression and the other compression? There's two different kinds there? Yeah. I've never used either one of them, but
so cold compression is going to give you a little bit of cold, right?
So is it just circulating through the... Okay.
It's a little bit cold and a little bit of compression versus the compression is a lot of compression. So because that compression is so dense, so pressurized, it can perforate blood vessels and help you recover faster.
Oh, got you.
But you can't get that same effect with the cold.
Okay. Now, I'll tell you this. I know you had mentioned it the other day, and I think you said Austin was using like leg compression sleeves. I bought some, and they're a little bit of a motherfucker to put on, I'll be honest with you.
Oh, calf compression.
Yeah, the calf compressions. So I put them on yesterday, and dude, I'll be honest with you, I have gotten to the point where sitting for several hours, I get super tight in the knees, super tight in the ankles, and it gets to the point where I understand why people waddle now, because you're not getting that looseness in the ankles and that looseness in the knee. And so yesterday I bought some compressions and got them put on, and at first I was like, this is kind of weird, it's kind of tight, you know, maybe it was a little too tight, you know, I was getting a little swelling kind of around my bottom of my ankle or whatever, and then you can kind of feel in your legs something's going on, you know, and I guess it's the compression of that calf that's just pushing shit out, you know.
Blood hasn't. There's new blood in different areas. Like, this feels different.
Well, it feels like tingly in your
like,
shit.
Wait, this blood is going back up?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
That blood hasn't been to the heart in weeks.
Well, let me tell you, after about 15 minutes of wearing them, 20 minutes of wearing them, and I was just kind of sitting there at the house, I had them on, I was like, seeing if they were too tight or whatever. I felt amazing, man. Yeah. When I came to set up, I had them on. I never had that tightness in my ankle, and I didn't realize it, but I get a lot of tightness in my right heel too. That didn't happen either, you know. And then the tightness in the knees to where just bending them wasn't there. And I told my wife I had to catch myself, man, because when I get on these kicks, right, where I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing. Let me buy a 30 pair, you know. So I went on Amazon. I bought a couple more. And then I think the size that I'm getting is what I need. Feels a little tight, so I think I'm going to go up one just to kind of see how that works. But, man, that shit's legit, man. The compression sleeves is legit.
Dude, let me tell you. And segue how... So I met Ryan a year ago, right after our last podcast. Mm-hmm. And we started working together for last year. He's my massage guy. Recovery specialist. I don't even want to call him massage guy. But on the team, and this is my rookie year in the main level strongman now. It's like turned out to be really good.
Yeah.
7th at World Strongest Man, 5th at Strongest Man on Earth. Like, there's guys that have been in sports so long haven't even been to the finals of World Strongest.
Yeah. The Strongest Man on Earth, that's the Brian show? Gotcha.
Anyways, I think that was very important that Ryan joined the team in terms of heavy metal and my success. But this dude's like, hey, you need to get compression socks. And I'm like, you mean like fucking diabetes socks? Like people...
Yeah.
And so I got over my ego and I went I bought them on Amazon. First of all, you won't ever see me wearing them. I'll only wear them with jeans.
Okay.
And I won't wear them like with shorts because I'm not that old yet. You know,
Yeah.
I'll wait till at least 40.
Yeah.
Before I start walking around with fucking...
I'm 47, motherfucker, so...
I'll be before I start wearing with chanclas and fucking just shorts, bro. That's
So you wearing the full sock?
the full sock.
Okay.
Hey, bro, I'm telling you.
Maybe I need to go the full sock.
No, you need to. Hey, if you're getting that with just a calf compression, put them on, sleep with them, and especially at work. Like when I'm at work,
work crazy.
I'll just put them on at work, and then I take them off right before I work out. Crazy.
Yeah.
Because we're big dudes, so
Yeah.
The swelling is just normal because we're basically pre-diabetic all the time, anyways.
Yeah. Well, I'm regular diabetic.
Yeah, I'm pre-diabetic.
But you know, I also saw a bunch of videos, and like a lot of them are nurses that are on their feet, 12-hour days, and they're just
well, that's what he's saying. You should just have a low-level compression on your leg, anyways. Even if you're a healthy human being, like that, just getting the blood circulation and moving stuff is vital.
Well, it's crazy too. I have one athlete that she runs a lot, and we were giving her calf compression sleeves for her drive up to her next run. And she decided to wear them during her run. And she said that it was weird because normally she has to like tighten her shoes really tight because eventually, her feet will start to swell up. And with these compression socks on, they don't swell while you're running. So she would actually have to tighten them as she was running because her feet weren't swelling, and she felt better.
Really?
So even when like you're running distance, that the compression socks actually do have an impact too. It's crazy.
And I'm like Austin, right? I'm sitting there going, there's a little bit of pride in it, right? And it's like, I don't want to put these on. And my grandmother wore these, you know, people who come out of surgery wear these. And so the mentality toward it is kind of fucked up, right? It's kind of, you just go, I'm not ready for this, you know? And, but then the other thing is like, I'm kind of like, well, if I'm going to wear this shit, I'm going to be really gaudy. And so I bought these hot pink and hot blue. And I mean, they're bright. I sent them to my buddy. He wears some, and his are solid black. And he's like, what the fuck are you wearing? I said, dude, if I'm going to wear them.
You're going to know I'm wearing them.
And you know what? Maybe it's me getting older too, but I get to the point now where I'm kind of like, you know what? This shit's working. I don't give it. You can call me whatever the fuck you want.
Dude, at my when I used to work at an injury clinic, I would have crazy socks. And so, because when I was in the military we always had black socks, white socks. Mm-hmm. So when I got into the injury clinic and they're like, you can wear whatever kind of socks you want. I had like Taco Tuesdays, donuts and coffee. So whenever I was showing stretches, you would just see like a little bit of my sock. And I would always get like compliments on my crazy compression socks.
Hey man, you got to get the bright ones, man.
Nah, I'm sticking with the black.
He'll get there.
I don't know about that.
So do you wear them pretty regular now? Like every
day at work, yeah.
Do you really?
I mean, because I wear jeans, so I'm just sitting down all day.
What do you, is it a motherfucker to get them on, or mine just too tight?
Yeah, they're kind of a pain in the ass.
Are they?
They make tools that you can use to get
well, you sent me the little roller thing.
Yeah.
And so...
I honestly didn't... I saw that and I thought it was a joke at first. And then I looked at a video of how it works, and I was like, this actually might be beneficial for even me to do it. Because apparently it turns it into like from a minute and a half process to a 10-second process.
So you just slide them on or what?
Yeah, it literally just like, it slides on this little pole. And
you saw that one? That got real dirty, man.
It does look dirty.
Well, she has this...
All right, here we go.
She has this massive black pole that's probably... maybe at the base, the width of this bottle.
They sell the black pole with it, too.
Yeah, and it's about this tall.
Yeah. Oh, so it's taking up real estate in your house.
And you lock it down on the table.
Oh.
And so she had flesh-colored socks. So she starts rolling them on there. And like, I had to stop watching it because not like I was getting turned on, right? But I was just like, this is too much,
It made you uncomfortable a little bit?
I felt like she was fucking with me. I was like... So I said, let's go see how other people do it. But there was one nurse lady. She turned it inside out, put it as long as she got it over heel, then she could just pull it up. So I mean, there's ways to do it, but
it's not bad. It's worth it for the day.
You know what? Honestly, yeah. I'm gonna have to. let me tell you something kind of fucked up. The past couple of weeks, I love working out of the house for one. But the past couple of weeks, I've had to be working out of the house because even just to walk into the office, my shit would get tight, and all of a sudden it would start low. It started at my heels and my calf, my knee. Then all of a sudden it's like my ass cheeks would get real tight, and then it would get to the back. And once it got to the back, it was a wrap, man. And so I find myself throughout the day, and I do it at home. I do it at home more as just exercise. So I like being at the house. But at work, like I go to the stairwell. I grab the stairwell, I throw a knee up or a leg up on a couple of steps, and then I do some stretching. And like I told you before, I feel like I'm constantly stretching, but it's not doing anything, because about 30, 40 minutes later, all my shit's tight again. And I guess it's getting the blood out of that area. That's the important part, because I haven't been wearing these things and wore them yesterday, man. I felt great.
You know what I think it is? I think there's a difference between being tight, muscular-wise, and just having a pump because you're your muscles are overworking.
And that's probably what it is. And then plus, look what it's fucking carrying, right? It's not like it's carrying Ryan, you know. It's carrying Austin and Ryan. So so that doesn't. That
well, yeah, no, I get it too. Like, I'll know how heavy. Like, I don't like getting on the scale because I've had like scale anxiety from like wrestling back in college. So I don't even like, even now, I obviously know I'm over 400 pounds, but still I won't even get on a scale. Like, it just scares the shit out of me. So
there's no weighing yourself at these events?
No, I mean, we don't have to. It's open.
Got you.
I mean, I'm going against Thor. He's 440, so you know what I mean? There's no weight limit, but I'll know how heavy I am based on how fast I get a back pump walking. If I'm walking 5 minutes and I get back pump, I'm like, oh shit, I'm a little heavy. I probably need to
I see.
Much. You know what's crazy though? So we're in Colorado 2 weekends ago, and the Nice Rock. There's this.
I saw you holding something.
Another modality.
Okay.
I don't know. He probably explained the science a little bit better to you, but basically is, you know how you do like a set of tricep extensions and you go to burning out, right? And your muscles pumped and you're like, oh my God. And so you go do another set to failure, right? And you maybe do half the reps, right? Because you're just so pumped and your body's just over, like it's just hot, right? Well, this is supposed to do is to cool your core temperature down through your hands. So you're just holding this thing and the surface is on the outside. It feels like a stone and it cools you down.
Really?
Yeah, it's wild. And so I didn't know anything about this. They're the title sponsor of Strongest Man on Earth, and they have a little booth back there, and they're kind of showing the athletes, you know, what's going on, how this works, whatever. And so I grabbed it because we just walked from the hotel. The hotel's real close to the arena, and I wasn't about to go on the shuttle. I was like, I'll just walk over there, right? So we walked over there, and I grabbed it, and 2 minutes later, my back pump went away.
Really?
Yeah. It's wild.
That's
so it's like it's supposed to cool you down internally, but you keep your body still, quote unquote, warmed up. Like your joints are, you know how you warm up. It's not only just
it draws temperature from your core to this, and then it also reduces inflammation.
When they had their booth, did they have anything where it was kind of recording maybe your body temperature?
No.
Before and after. I wonder, that'd be interesting to
so
see.
So the way they were like showing people how it works was they would ask them to do a set of curls to failure, and so they would get like 20 reps, right? And then all right, do another set, and they might get 10 to 12 or whatever.
So the data that, if you guys watch Andrew Huberman, the Nice Rock was started from the podcast, pretty much that podcast that researched freezing your hands and doing pull-ups. And so in this data, they were showing that if you go and do 10 pull-ups and that's your maximum, like your 10th pull-up is pretty much you're halfway up and you could barely just get to that last one. If you go and ice your hands for 2 to 3 minutes, and you go right and do pull-ups, you'll get more, like 12, 13, 14, but right after going to failure. So when I tried it out, I got 15 pull-ups, and then on my second round, I got 22 or 25.
Really? So yours went up?
Yeah, but what's crazy is that first 15 felt exhausting all the way up from 10 to 15. And the last 5 were really grueling. When I did the palm cooling, I went past 15 without ever struggling. And then once I hit 20, that's when it like really set in. And so this is really cool piece of tool that we can bring. Like we can bring ice chest, or we have like a Nice Rock that you can bring portable. But the idea is pretty much it reduces the heat buildup that your palms exert, and the more heat that you have, the more fatigued you can do, and you can also decrease your ATP production.
Layman terms here for you. Let me digest that for you.
Thank you, Austin. He lost me there.
No, I saw his face. He's like, what? You use acronyms now. I don't know what you're talking about. Your muscle heats up to protect it from overworking itself. So if you're able to cool yourself down internally, you can use that muscle more.
So is this a device that's like electronic and cools down, or do you have to put it in like an ice chest?
No, you turn it on and the outside.
It goes right away. Yeah.
Really?
But they're still figuring it out because it wouldn't work here in Texas.
It's too fucking hot.
Because they found exactly the if they get past like 90 degrees outside, they can't, because the sweet spot they're finding is 57 degrees on the palm. And so if it's too hot outside, they can't reach that 57 degrees on the surface of the rock. Yeah. So they're still trying to figure that out. But
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, even down here when you get to like cooling of the buildings and stuff, you know, I work in engineering firms and they've always designed around your yearly average, but your peak time in the summer, your air conditioning, even at home, is not going to keep up with it. No. You know. And so very similar to that kind of thing, it's like it's just too damn hot. And when you get to a certain temperature down here, it doesn't matter. You're not going to hit that 57 degrees.
You can press that button as much as you want to get it cool. It's not going to. Yeah.
You know what I do? Fuck ERCOT or whoever that is.
What, the emails from CPS?
Yeah, well, they tell you, hey, bump your air conditioner up to 85.
Yeah, what was that? I saw that the other day where it said when you're home, like stay at 78. When you're away, 85. When you're sleeping, 82. It's like
smoking crack.
The fuck, you're dumb as shit.
Let me tell you what I do.
There's not a 6 on there.
Nah. So this is what I do. I leave the house at 68 all the time. All the time. Let me tell you why. They'll tell you, hey, bump it up. We're trying to save energy. But this is what I've noticed. And then I verified it with some mechanical engineers. I set it at 68, right? So at a certain point in the summertime here in Texas, it doesn't make a shit if it's set at 68 or 80 degrees. That motherfucker's going to run and it's not going to turn off because it's 104 outside, right? So I've noticed in the past when I would bump my AC up at night when I try and get it down to the temperature that I want to sleep at, it ran all night long. But at 68, it turns off quicker than if I had bumped it up because the house has stayed cool. Yeah. Surfaces have stayed cool, chairs, tables, things in the house stayed cooler because I dropped it down. So at the house in the heat of the summer, if let's say we're just chilling out and leaving the house a little bit, keeping the doors closed, it'll only get up to 72. Mm-hmm. So it'll hit 68 by 1 o'clock in the morning. As opposed to bumping it up to 78,
having it cool
trying to get down to 69. Well, that's too big of a temperature
difference.
Just
keep your shades closed.
I keep them closed.
Yeah.
I run that motherfucker at 68 all the time. And honestly, like I said, it turns off quicker than if I raised it during the day and tried to lower it at night. Yeah, because that temperature difference.
Yeah, it's working overtime once you get home.
Yeah, it's too much of a temperature difference. It takes longer to get where I want it. Or if I just leave it there and it's at 68, it's actually running less throughout the day. So fuck ERCOT. That's what I say.
Bro, I can't imagine they're sending out the email like, yeah, these people will listen to us.
It's crazy.
You're dumb as shit.
It's crazy. and you know, I got a buddy of mine that he's got his house hot all the time. And I'm like, dude, I can't do it. Like, you can't sleep. You're sweating. You know, it's just, I mean, if you're going to the gym, fine. But at the house, fuck, I want to sleep and I want it to be cold. But set that shit where you want it.
You sleep hot though, don't you? Like that, doing that shit?
Do you like
what?
It? What temperature?
My house is set to 78 because I live in an apartment, so I'm cheap.
Wait, what floor?
It's not. I'm on the 3rd floor too.
Oof.
So I couldn't. I'm not like caring about.
You don't have as much insulation as.
Yeah, he cools down real quick.
Yeah. Well, and I also have I have a bed that turns the temperature down.
Oh really?
Yeah. So like nice. The bed gets to 60 or 55 degrees.
No,
I could do that.
Yeah. And so when I get out of bed though, I'm like start sweating because it's hot in my apartment.
Yeah.
But then I go back into the bed and it's freezing cold.
He's got condensation on his sheets.
Little too humid.
Yeah, you'd hate it in my house, man. I keep it down.
No, I like that. I just don't. I don't have that much invested in CPS Energy to give them that much money.
Now I'll say this: there's some times where I'm asleep and I'll start shivering, so I've got to have a blanket.
Will that save more money though if you do it that way versus the other way?
No, bro. See, it's already budgeted. Then I know I'm spending. Well, see, I have a brand new home, so we have all the like
show off.
Well, We have all the insulation. We have, you know what I mean? They have the blown insulation. They have all the stuff. So I don't even, I know I'm going to spend $100+ a month on that. Like, I don't know. But I know some people spend a lot more money because they don't have their house insulated correctly.
Insulation's huge. Like, you'll go to New Braunfels. New Braunfels has a lot of older houses. And San Antonio does too. But, like, when it freezes or it snows, like, if you drive, you can see who's got an old house because there's no ice or no frost.
The roof will be melted,
Yeah. But, I mean, if you're comfortable at 78 and that's the temperature that you set it to,
I would much more comfortable at a lower temperature.
Yeah.
The only problem is I like a little bit less cost on energy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think if you leave it
cheap, dude.
Yeah.
Well, if you leave it where you want it, it doesn't make up that. So for me, I want to be at 68. So if I bump it up to 78, it's going to get to 84, right? Because the house is just going to get hot. Where now, if I leave it at 68, it only gets to 72. So it's making up those 4 degrees at night.
Which is big.
Right. So, like, if I were to bump it up to 85 or 80 and go to work, well, fuck, it gets to 85, and now I want to get it to 68 at night? That's too big of a temperature. So as long as you leave it where you want it, it'll only increase so many degrees, and only have to get down that far.
I'll see. I'll try it this month.
That's why it's important not to turn off. Like, when people leave the house, they turn off their.
I did.
Yeah.
When I went to Colorado, I turned off my AC. I got back and we turned it on, and it didn't work.
Oh, really?
Thank God for apartments. I just called them, and they're like, "Yep, there's something wrong with your AC vent." So it fixed it in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, crank that shit down, man.
I was like, I'm not here. I'm not gonna fucking leave it on.
Well, I think if you're gonna leave for like several days, it's probably not terrible to bump it up a little bit, but I wouldn't turn it off because
it's actually working harder trying to get back on.
Yeah, because you're gonna be 90 degrees.
It's not my AC.
I want to come home to a cold ass house.
Hell yeah.
So that's what I like.
I want to come home to a low electrical bill.
What has your bill been?
It's like 150
in years.
That's what I pay on the warm days. That's what I'm saying.
I think the highest I've paid is like $209, which is like another $50.
Anytime I see that energy bill racking up to like 187, I'm like, unplug everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Can we keep the fridge unplugged when we're not using it?
Well, I'm an old fat guy. I'd rather unplug a lot of other shit like gas and groceries. But let's keep it at 68.
I sleep with the ceiling fan. We have a box fan that's going on. I have a fan on me. And then if it gets too hot, I got a swamp cooler I put out by the door to pull colder air from the rest of the house because the master faces west. And so at night, or at the end of the day, the sun's just beating into the master.
Oh, yeah, it's fucking hot.
And it's almost like 10 degrees warmer in our...
Do you ever feel the wall? You feel that wall? It's fucking hot.
Yeah.
So how does your wife deal with that shit?
She's fine with that. It's me, man.
Women sleep hot. Or I can't. Cool, and men sleep hot.
I can't. If it's 72, I will sit in my bed and I'll be like, it's too damn hot for me. I can't. Yeah. Once it's 68, then I'll fall asleep.
Are you still doing the CPAP?
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah.
Need to.
It's crazy.
Are you on it?
CPAP?
Yeah.
No, I'm not that big. You fucking kidding me? I can get great sleep now with that bed. So and the nose strip. I just need a nose strip. That's it.
That's what I
don't need a fucking CPAP.
You don't use a nose strip?
I don't use a nose strip, but this is okay. Everybody's gonna hate me for this, or at least medical people. But I don't put any water in my machine.
I don't either.
You don't? Okay, good. Because I like it to dry me out. The problem is, in the wintertime, I get super dry, and I get nosebleeds.
It doesn't. That's weird because it don't dry me out.
I get super dry.
And I only use a nose piece. I only use a nose thing, and it doesn't.
I use a fucking helmet.
Oh yeah.
No, it's just over my nose and my mouth. But
see, when you use over your mouth, you need to because it'll dry your shit out.
Bad. It does.
But I just use a nose piece, and it just. No.
But you said you used it over the mouth?
Yeah.
Oh, that's why.
Yeah, but I do like being because I can breathe better. So
you don't have all that phlegm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't. So it's just dry. So I mean. Yeah. But like again, in the wintertime, if I'm not careful, I will get nosebleeds. But man, I think I told you. Maybe I think I told you one time. I had it for a while. When I did my sleep study, it was fucking so bad. First of all, it was in the medical center. I went there, and the chick was cute, and we were the only ones there. And I was like, something's going down tonight. And turned out all it was a sleep study. But anyway, woke up in the morning, and I said, so how'd it go? And
she's like, you almost died.
Well, she goes, in your worst, what did she say?
Worst hour?
Yeah. It was, she goes, you quit breathing twice a minute. Like, it was 115 times. And I was like, is that bad? She's like, it's real bad. And it's crazy, right?
Bro.
Is it bad that I stop breathing when I sleep?
Every 30 seconds, his fucking heart has to restart. Breathing.
And so I got this machine right, and it's super uncomfortable. It's loud. And then now I have a beard, so it doesn't really, I probably need the nose thing because it doesn't really do the suction very well. But I would use it every now and then, and I was like 30 minutes at night. And then I kind of got away from it, And one night I was asleep, and I dreamed, and it could have been Nina for all I know. But I dreamed that somebody was sitting on my chest fucking choking me. And I woke up just couldn't breathe. I had to roll over. I was leaning. I was just gasping for air. And that day I was like, I'm never fucking not sleeping with this thing again. And I sleep with it every night. And dude, it's a big difference. I mean, if I go out of town for 2 days, I won't take it. But if I go for more than 2, I got to take it. Because after the second night, I'm fucking dying at night.
Well, you're basically staying up. You're not sleeping.
Yeah.
You're not really going to sleep. But, what he's talking about is like the NFL player, no strip.
Yeah, they pull you open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He put me onto that too. That's a fucking game changer.
Does it help even when you dry yourself out? Like when the machine's going to dry you out? Well, you don't get drier though, right?
No, it's not even about drying. It's just opening your nasal passage and more air. Is like you have you done it before?
No. I know you sent them to me.
That's what I'm saying. Is you might have to turn down the pressure because that shit, when it opens up and it's sending more air, you're like, there's a point you're like, you're taking more air than you're used to.
I'll have to check that out because I went on YouTube the other day.
Dude, it's like 10 cents a strip. Like,
yeah.
And
it's good.
You're getting almost 10 times better sleep.
I'll have to buy some because I haven't bought them. He sent me a link to them. They're in my Amazon cart. I just hadn't.
Just press fucking buy. Do it now.
I'm recording with y'all, but I will.
Yeah, dude. Like no strips. I can tell even like lighter people like myself. If I don't sleep with one of those things,
that's a jab, right? That was a jab. He's on non-fat fucks,
right?
Like
you
me.
Can still benefit from those nose strips.
All right, sorry.
No, but like if I don't use a nose strip, I can tell that my sleep score is drastically lower, like by 20 points.
Really?
Yeah.
It's funny because like the older I get, and Ryan's turned me on to a lot of stuff, and you kind of just expose rabbit holes, right? So even on my own, I will go and do some research and go, okay, what is this kind of thing? And it's just these little minor things, these minor changes that start to accumulate, and then you're sleeping a little bit better, things are feeling a little better. But you put up with it for such a long time. Like even the lower back thing, I was talking to a buddy actually 2 days ago, and he said, when did it start? I said, dude, you know when it started? I was like, I want to say, if I had to guess, I'd say about maybe 20 years ago now. All I was doing was I was getting out of the truck. I opened the door, I threw my left leg out, and I got like this lightning bolt across the bottom of my back. And my legs wouldn't move. My feet wouldn't move, nothing. So I kind of grabbed the steering wheel and the fucking old shit bar and pushed myself back in the truck. And I remember calling my buddy Rich because he worked there. And I said, dude, I can't move my legs. I don't know what's wrong. I said, I got a lightning bolt pain through the middle of my back. I said, and I can't move. So he came down, and I was sitting there for a while, and he's like, what do you want to do? You want to call an ambulance? And I was like, no, let's wait. I'm Mexican, right? No, it'll go away. And, after about 20 minutes, my toes started moving again, and I was kind of like, okay, I think I'm all right, man. So I got out of the truck, I went back to work, and ever since then, it would go and come. And then I'd say probably in the last 3 years is when it's just been consistent, So the one thing that I noticed that really feels good in the short term is I've got a bunch of kettlebells, but I have two, I think, 54-pounders. And I'll kind of do like a straight-legged bend over deadlift type thing. And that stretches it a little bit. And then plus, it feels like things are starting getting tighter. A lot of it's me being fat and out of shape, right? Like, no core isn't fucking good, you know? And then sitting down for fucking all day, you know, people get paid if I sit in front of a monitor. The longer I sit in front of the monitor, the more gets done and the more somebody else gets paid, right? Yeah. So, I mean, there's that whole aspect to it, too, where it's kind of like, well, you have to consciously say, get up. And I try and do it every 30 minutes. I'll get up and I'll walk around or I'll stretch or I'll do something. That's why I really like working at the house, because at where I have my office is this hallway, and it's full of kettlebells with resistance bands and just kettlebells. So I'll get up and I'll go and I'll do some shit. I'll do some curls. I'll do some straight-legged bend over deadlift kind of thing. And all that stuff helps throughout the day. But if I start slacking off, shit starts hurting.
I mean, it's correct me if I'm wrong. All this stuff, like recovery, or even like a workout can be recovery, right? Yeah. It's all just how can you get blood moving around the body? Because blood's what heals things, right? So if something's hurting, well, I mean, it's the same thing as like, if you, like the day you stop moving is the day you die, right?
Right.
So like, you gotta move. Well, if you move, blood's flowing. So you're gonna be able to recover. And it's the same thing. It's probably why that stretch feels so good and it moves it, because you're actually getting blood to that area.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if you can get, that's why we have on our deload workouts, like when we're going into a contest and we're pulling back. That last week of work, like I'm not even touching a weight. I could do like a whole body weight workout, but as long as I'm sweating and there's blood moving in my body, and I can like kind of feel my heartbeat and just from that cardio, just getting blood moving, then that's all I need. I don't need to, quote unquote, have resistance move weight, because that work's already been done. Now I just need to heal my body so when I show up competition day, I'm 100%. So it's just like, it's the same thing. It's like, how can you, it's any modality that evolve, right? The ice bath is, you get in an ice bath, all the blood goes to your insides. You go to the sauna, all the blood comes to the outside. What is that? At the end of the day, it's blood flow. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
So it's just how can you get blood moving around your body? It's as simple as that. That's what I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. So let me ask you this: heavy metal's had some changes.
Yeah.
How are y'all liking them?
I mean, I like them because I'm here. So
well, no, it's
I can't say I can't like it.
That's what. So like going back to when me and Ryan met, he hit me. So we were talking in the sauna at Evolve. He's like, "Hey, I wanna sponsor you." I was like, "All right, hell yeah." I don't know what that means, but because this is well, I tell you, like, I've blown up in the last 2 years.
Really quick, man.
Yeah, and I mean and to be honest with you, sometimes I don't even know how to handle it.
Yeah.
And so, here I've got this random dude come up to me and saying, "Hey, I want to sponsor you, or I want to help you out," right? And I'm like, "Oh shit, okay," like, you know what I mean? So, well, it turns out it was the right person to get sponsored by, because he actually knows what the hell he's doing.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of times you're gonna get talked to by people and they don't know jack shit, and you'll go down a rabbit hole with someone that you shouldn't be going. That may end up hurting you in the long run, anyways. That's besides the point.
Airport.
Oh, I thought that was you, dude.
It's cartel. Overalty cartel.
I thought that was your stomach, bro.
If it's my stomach, we're cutting this shit off.
So whenever like, I'm loyal to the death sometimes, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And so he's like, "All right, I'll sponsor you," and then they're opening up the new thing. I text him like, "Hey, they're fucking looking for a massage therapist," or I don't even like calling them massage therapist.
What do you call yourself?
Sports massage therapist.
Sports massage.
Just not masseuse.
Okay.
That's the one thing.
Okay.
Because masseuse is like, let me relax. I mean, he still can do that. And
yeah.
That he uses that too in part of my recovery. Like when we're at World's Strongest Man, he's like, "Hey, let's do a
foo-foo massage.
We call foo-foo massage, so I can relax." But some of the other stuff is like, let's get you ready. Like he's got massage to get you ready for activity. So that's why I don't like calling it that's why I have a hard time calling a massage therapist, because when I say massage therapist, I think turn the rock. We're gonna put rocks on you, candles on.
Yeah,
shit like
music.
That. Yeah, so, and it's not like that. Some of the shit we do, half the shit we do is fucking work.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like I'm huffing and puffing. He's fucking huffing and puffing. Like,
well, I've seen him work on you and Nick on these videos, and you got to be in shape, man.
I had to start going back to the gym like full time now, especially after Shaw Classic. I was exhausted. I sprained 2 fingers.
Oh, really?
In that one, yeah.
But let me real quick. So they're opening spots. So I text him. I was like, "Hey, you need to get in here and talk to Tim." And you know how Tim is very particular about who he brings in, and you know he's not taking Joe Schmo off the street.
Right.
And I was like, if you have to develop a relationship with him. Like I was at the gym 2-3 years before he even let me coach someone. Yeah. And that's as a regular gym goer, you know what I mean? So I was like, we need to fast track this. You need to go work out with him. You need to go have, you know what I mean? You need to be around him. And so once he did that, they're like, yeah, we'll bring Ryan on. And so he's got a spot now there. Yeah. And so it's great. So it's like, you know, I work out in this room and then I get worked out in this room. But
now you have the yard too, right?
The yard's gotten redone. It's flattened out now. So we're going to have a contest there. We're going to have the Metal Mayhem Strongman competition in November.
It's November?
November. So I know because Renee's not having the thing this year.
Yeah, the Battle of Alamo City.
So we're still going to run a show, but it's going to be at the gym now. And now it's going to be on a flat surface, and it's going to be awesome because now we don't have to haul equipment clear across San Antonio.
Yeah. I remember the first time everybody did that. Y'all had a U-Haul full of plates. Yep. And that poor fucking truck, man.
Was that the Ill Steel?
No, so Ill Steel is the powerlifting meet that they have.
Oh no, wait, sorry, Battle. Yeah,
I think it was the first season.
You guys got out of there quick too.
No, so that was last year. Yeah. Last year he had like National Guard cadets there or whatever that.
And that had to be huge.
That helped out, and they just took everything But a year before, we were out in the field, and Tim decided to have a 2-lane 5-bar deadlift ladder. So we had, I want to say, 90 45s.
Damn. Oh, it was crazy, man.
7-8 pairs of hundreds. Like we moved the whole gym out to a field. That was the worst thing. Yeah. We were there 2 days before, right? It took forever to get everything out there.
It was impressive, but
took us. Oh my God, took us almost a whole day to put everything back. Like, it was the worst thing.
And y'all were that day of the event. I think y'all were out there from like 7 to 8 or something like. It was like a 13-hour day. And I remember Tim telling Nina, he was like, I just realized I haven't pissed all day.
You haven't pissed all day. No, for real.
Everybody's dehydrated. Yeah. I was like, jeez, man.
Everyone was like 2 tints darker.
Oh yeah.
Just being in this, and mind you, this is end of October.
That's nuts.
And we're still like, it was hot as shit. But yeah, so we got the yard done. We're gonna have the contest there. He has a Connex box, which we had our first stone session in. So like, that's the biggest thing. Like having to do stones at heavy metal has kind of been a pain in the ass last couple of years because we'd always do it in that street. And don't get me wrong, we've always made it work, right? And Tim Michelle have always set it up to where we've had everything we could possibly have. But when it's right next to a bar and people are throwing glass at it and the dirt, they're outside, like just like doing stones and having the tacky on, it's like horrible. And so you do one rep and next thing you know, your tacky's like useless because it's full of dirt, now it's full of glass. Like
really, that bad?
Yeah, it's just so they got a Connex box where we moved all the stones. So we're basically doing stones inside now, so they're all clean. They're not going to be touched by the elements outside, and we have a little platform in there, so we can do everything we can in there now. But they're also like they cut the turf short, so they're going to add like 12 more machines that are coming actually, I think next week or the week after. So
they're going to stay outside.
What?
The machines?
No. These are all brand new machines that are going into a gym. So I don't know if you saw we moved the cable crossover machine over to the other side of the gym. Yeah. Well, now all that's going to be machines on that side, which is great because now it's going to cater to like a whole new side of fitness. Yeah. Because like there's not a lot of machines we have, but the machines we have is really catered towards like powerlifting and strongman, like it's the machines that we have, you're not going to see in a normal gym, right?
Yeah.
So you don't know how, like, normal people come in, they look at it like, well, I don't know how to use that, right? So now we're getting more like.
I like the way he says normal people.
Well, is there anyone normal that comes to heavy metal? Like,
No.
so we'll be able to cater to more of the gym population, which is great because now we'll be able to take. I mean, that's the whole essence of heavy metal, anyways. Is like taking normal people and making them into fucking beasts, right?
Yeah.
So like now we're gonna be able to get more people in there that are like used to like a Golds or a Crunch Fitness, because now we have, oh, this is something I'm used to.
Right.
So now they're there, and now we're like, hey, you want to try this log? You know what I mean? So
yeah.
we can kind of slowly turn them into something.
And that makes sense because you got a lot of people who are familiar with equipment, like you're saying, and it's funny because like when you watch heavy metal videos, like Tim's got 3 benches stacked on top of each other, and they're cantilevered over, like a cliff, and he's doing the seal presses or whatever he's doing, and so it's very creative. It's nice to take free weights and get creative with them.
Yeah.
But your average Joe and Jane off the street, they want to go, change the weight and do some reps, So the creativity is what sets people apart. But when you're talking about people just want to come in and get a quick workout in, they don't have that background or that history of, hey, let me get creative with these free weights and because literally you can work on whatever you want, and there's just different variations of doing it. But when somebody can go, okay, I know how to do this, and I can come do this, and at the same time watch y'all do other things, like you're saying, maybe they will go explore the log, or they may go do something else that you guys are doing that are part of the strongman portions of it. So that's cool.
Or powerlifting, whatever it is. But yeah, it's gonna get a little bit more packed in the gym, but it's putting more money in Tim Michelle's pocket, which is gonna put more money in our pocket and put more money in his pocket. So it's a win-win-win-win.
Well, that shit can't be cheap to do the leveling of the yard and do the turf and the
even the machines itself are ridiculously expensive.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing though too, is like you'll be able to just like what you open a gym, right? And say you open a gym and you got machines, you got dumbbells, all right. Well, you're competing with Golds, Crunch. You're competing with people that got billions of dollars.
Yeah.
What makes you think that you're gonna do well? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. In that kind of situation, heavy metal, why it's able to stay afloat and do well against these people. Well, not only is it nice, it's clean. You're not gonna see jacked up equipment in there, but you have a place where you can do strongman stuff. You have a place where you can do powerlifting stuff. You have a place where you can get ready if you're playing football, any kind of sport-specific stuff. But now just adding that like gym side of the things, Tim's like, dude, we're gonna get freaking swole. I'm like, oh great, like just bodybuilder style, because he's adding that whole like different style of gym into the gym now. So like heavy metal is able to offer more than just the bodybuilding style gym, Golds, you know what I mean? It's mixed in with what we've already established as heavy metal, as like this place where you can become world's strongest man competitor or one of the top powerlifters in the world. I only say, and that's the only things I know. There's people that go to a gym, or there's a dude that played in the NFL there that went to a gym that grew up playing at Churchill. So like it's back to where it was, taking normal ass people and making them into the best they can be.
Well, you know what else? I mean, you can talk equipment, you can talk all that good stuff, and talk about what makes a good gym. And this coming from a fat out of shape guy, but I've been to a few different ones. We used to go to Golds quite a bit, and Spectrum, all those big commercial type gyms. And I'm sure there's a lot of great gyms out there, but I've always felt like what's been the thing that makes heavy metal as good as it is the fucking people that go there, and just you guys, the trainers, Tim and Michelle, there's this culture of And you're gonna go places where there's some people that don't get along with each other. That's gonna happen everywhere. Anytime you put a bunch of people together. But there's a lot of good folks that are there. And the mentality is, it's kind of from an outside perspective, it's kind of weird. And I remember Tim saying one time, he's like, dude, to some people this is their club. This is where they hang out. They don't go to the bar. They don't go dancing. This is where they socialize, and it's very different, I think, from what I've seen compared to maybe not necessarily other mom and pop gyms, but when you go to these large, heavy branded national gyms, you go in there, you go into Golds and nobody fucking talks. No. Everybody's got their beats on and their phones. Yeah, and it's like you may have a couple of guys that, hey, maybe they have similar goals and it takes them 6 months, but now they're talking to each other, but everybody else puts their shit on. And I grew up in a small town. If we make eye contact, I'm telling you hi. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I'll go to Golds and it's like, hey, fuck. Yeah. But I think that's just a different mentality. But and for you, how is I guess is this your first deal outside of Evolve?
What do you mean? Like
as far as being a sports therapist?
Yeah.
So how has, I guess, being in that atmosphere contributed to that? Is it keeping you busy?
It definitely is keeping me busy. It's keeping me on my toes when it comes to learning more techniques and trying to broaden my network. So that way I'm constantly learning what other people are doing in this industry that are better than me. And on top of that, it's making me be more active in myself, like with my workouts and everything like that. So I definitely enjoy being there. I'm getting more of a changed mindset of how I am with working out, where working with these guys that are, training 2 to 3 hours a day. I'm like, hey, maybe I can do like 20, 30 minutes a day.
Yeah.
That. So.
It's wild. This dude's like, I don't know how he does. He gets himself into situations where it's like, let's say that kind of came off bad.
What are you talking? Are you saying I can get myself into?
He gets himself into good situations.
Okay.
Just because he can network really well.
Yeah.
But so we're at Strongest Man on Earth, and like in terms of backstage passes, they're kind of limited in terms of what they give us and stuff like that. And so trying to like get everyone back there, like Maisie, Tim, now Ryan, and so we're like trying to like divvy up, like, okay, well, he's got an extra pass, he can give you one. And anyways, one of his passes didn't work out to getting his way. I got him back there because I was just like, oh yeah, he's my guy, we'll get him a pass right now. So we got past the security that way. But this dude goes in there and he starts talking to the sports
Denver Sports Recovery. It was the
so Brian Shaw's Strongest Man on Earth in terms of athlete treatment is hands down the best you'll ever get. Like you're treated like a professional athlete. Like in terms, like how you see these like NFL, like, oh, you can go get treatment, you can go do this. It's the same thing for us back there.
Yeah. Well, he's comes from that, so yeah, he knows how important it is.
So he came from not having that. So like him like making sure that we have that as athletes is like that's his number one goal, right? So he has Denver Sports Therapy back there, which is they work at the OTC, the Olympic Training Center, the Denver Broncos, like you name it.
The Rockies.
Oh wow.
They work with these high level athletes, and so they put up a booth, and if you have anything wrong, there's no like charge or nothing. You go get work done, and then you go do your thing, right? Well, this guy goes and starts talking to him, and next thing I know, it turns around, he's got a black wristband on. He's like, oh, I'm working with him now.
Yeah, I came up there to talk to them and saying, hey, what's going on? I wanted to let you know I'm a massage therapist, so if you guys need any help. And they're like, yeah, well, someone called out, so we have an extra table if you want to, work with us from now on.
Yeah.
I was like, sweet.
He worked awesome, on Hathor Bjornsson.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
The mountain.
Yeah.
Well, it's cool. It's because like, I'm like, all right, well, cool. Now I don't have to like really like worry about getting in backstage and stuff like that now, because now he's in with them.
Yeah.
But it's like, well, now we have a table, and he's like, hey, Ryan, I need you. See, he'd be back there work on me.
Yeah, it was really cool to work with them. And I will say shout out to Denver Sports Recovery because they have it's a very similar version to Evolve where they have cryotherapy, they have IV therapy, but they have chiropractors, physical therapists, athletic trainers, nutritionists, sports psychologists. It's a full team where kind of like what I try and build for myself here in San Antonio with a network so I can send people to. They have their network in-house where if a massage therapist can't deal with it, go here. If I can't deal with it, go there. But you never have to leave the house. And they also have a full gym in there.
Really?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
So
man.
it's fantastic. And they definitely took care of everybody there. They had athletic trainers there. They had massage therapists, chiropractors, cold plunging, and a vibration. They have body tempering there too.
Oh yeah, they have body tempering.
Well, you know what's cool is like so many times, and I'm super guilty of this, man. Like I don't take advantage of opportunities, or I don't even take advantage of putting myself in a position for an opportunity a lot of times, and like you showing up, having conversation, and all of a sudden you end up someplace that you probably didn't imagine you would ever be, working with people that was maybe a goal to be able to be part of something like that, and it's just putting yourself somewhere to have an opportunity come your way. And that's awesome, man.
Well, yeah, like when we went to Myrtle Beach at World's Strongest Man, I tried to get in
I
that
remember
same
you telling
situation,
me that, yeah.
And they just told me no, stonewalled me, and same situation, different outcome.
Yeah.
With the same.
Just can't let it know. Yeah, but I mean that's what's cool about it too. Is like I don't like just Ryan as a person. You don't have to I don't have to worry about him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's like, hey, can I tag along? Fuck yeah, dude. Like, do what you need.
Figure it out from there.
Yeah.
And he shows up and he works on me when he needs to, and we come. Same thing with like Tim, like with recovery. We have like Tim will, hey, plan of action. What are we gonna do? What's the show need? Like I got a show coming up in Vegas, the World Deadlift Championship. So after Strongest Man on Earth,
when is that one coming up?
September 28th. So like after taking a week and a half off after Strongest Man on Earth, I went to Tim. Hey, what are we doing? All right. So what are the events? How are we gonna come? How are we gonna attack this kind of thing? And it's the same thing with Ryan. It's like, all right, these are the days. This is what I'm competing. These are the events I'm doing. Like he'll work on me specific to what the events I'm doing that day. We'll plan of action it too. There, like, all right, we need to do the stretching that he has me do before the events, and then all right, how are you feeling? Do we need to do the foo massage stuff afterwards? But like at Worlds was a wake up call for me in terms of how much work it was. I don't know if you saw it, but it's.
Oh yeah.
You make in the final, so you do a strongman competition. You have 6 events. You do the strongman competition against the best in the world, right? And then if you make top 2 in the group, then you do another strongman competition against even better people in the world. So it was 4 days of competition, which was the hardest shit I've ever done in my life. I absolutely exhausted after those 4 days. They give you a day off in between, so it was 5 days of work because he says we got a day to get you recovered.
I'll say that day is not a nice day either. It's
Really?
like almost a shitty day because you give your body a whole day to start repairing things and thinking that everything's okay just to shut it down the next day. So it's almost like going from like 50 to 60%, and then hey, let's go right back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a.
And I would imagine that events like that, it's kind of like you can be a good athlete, you can be very strong, you can maybe have strength and speed and be well versed in some of those movements, but it's a marathon, right? So it's kind of like you got to get day to day. And I think I'd seen one guy tore his hands up, right? And it's kind of like, well, how can you also stay healthy? Yeah. How can you keep from tearing a muscle? How can you keep from ruining your hands to pick shit up? And you may be the strongest guy there. You may be the most athletic guy there. But if you can't stay healthy from day to day, you're not gonna finish the marathon.
Yeah.
And so that's that's where guys like him are crucial. You know, I mean, they've got a plan, they've got some ideas of what they want to do, and it's just a matter of, hey, how do we get them through today so we can get them done tomorrow? You know, and then after the 5th day, you know, I mean, that's kind of what everybody's banged up, everybody's beat up, and it's kind of like, okay, well, how do we recover this whole time to get us here and to be able to perform?
Yeah, that fourth day, you look around and everyone is just like, you're like, and then the way they set it up, they put the last 3 heaviest events on day 4, and you're just like, the most iconic event in World Strongest Man is the Atlas Stones, right? Mm-hmm. And it's the last event. I've seen this my whole life growing up, and I have my opportunity to load all these stones at World Strongest Man, and I get to have my iconic moment, and I cannot physically get up for the event, like when I mean get up, like hyped for it.
Right.
Like, I'm like, here I'm standing at World Strongest Man, day 4, Atlas Stones, and all my adrenaline's gone. And I'm just like, it's because everyone's wiped out. It's wild. It's wild to see. And then I remember there's a guy, Nathan Payton. He's a nutritionist. He does nutrition for Brian Shaw, Thompson, all the best dudes. I mean, I think he's got a combination of like 8 Strongest Man titles of people he's helped get. And he's there, and he's a Texas guy, so he likes to help me and Nick out. Just kind of, well, he works with Nick actually now. So he'll come and give me little freebies every now and then, you know, to how to like eat Rice Krispie treats to get you ready for an event. It's wild.
Yeah.
And so so I went to him. I was like, "Hey man, do you have anything for like this last day? Like it's like I'm beat up." And he goes, "Nope, this is just it, man. Like, like just it's like," he said, "Enjoy it, bro, because this is like." You're depleted, like everyone else is. So don't think that no one's got the edge on you or anything. Like this is just what it is. Like you're just gonna have to go. Like, well, I'm glad. Even him telling me that, like, you know, the experience that he has, and it's like, well, I appreciate that, because like here I'm thinking like, I'm like, damn, dude, this is it. Like, and that's what doing all the recovery work with Ryan. And if I didn't have, oh my God, I don't even think I could have made it at all, because we'd wake up we'd go have breakfast, 6 o'clock in the morning, come up, we'd do an hour of work where he'd stretch me out, get me ready for the show. We'd go to the show, I'd warm up, I'd do the event, I'd cool down, I'd do another event, cool down, warm up. It was all day.
It was like, there was hours and hours between, like with Shot, you had, like, what was it, from 2 p.m. to 6 p.m.?
Yeah.
They would they would do their events, and they would have breaks in between that. And with Worlds, it would start at like 10, and it would go till 5.
Wow.
6. And so you're just...
long day.
You have 3 events for 8 hours of work.
Yeah.
That's a long day.
So like, yeah.
And then very long rest periods.
And you stack that. And that's the hard part too, is because you get up for an event, you dump adrenaline, and then so you have to get back up for an event, and then you dump it. So even you just dumping adrenaline's like taxing on the body.
Yeah. That's crazy. So what is the amongst the athletes? You know, I'd imagine I've only known team sports, right?
Yeah.
And so in team sports, yeah, you get prepared for certain things, but when you're yes, to some degree, what you guys are doing is a team sport to some degree, but it's still you competing against other single competitors.
Yeah.
And what is the mentality, or what is the backstage like with those other guys towards the end of an event? Is everybody helpful, or are people still competitive as far as like just trying to maybe get an edge over each other? Because I would imagine at a certain point when you're a single competitor, your body's expiring for the events. You've got to be tired. Things have to hurt. You know, is there a lot of camaraderie back there, and everybody just kind of taking care of each other? Because there's not a whole lot of people who do what you guys do. What you and Nick do is very, very rare, you know, amongst just the population, you know. So is there still that connection there, or is everybody still pretty competitive backstage?
How do I answer that? Yes and no. I mean, we're competitors at the end of the day, so there's always going to be, you got to be careful how you game stuff, like who you tell and what you tell. But for the most part, we're all homies. Like, we're cool with each other. Most of us are. There's a couple that you don't want to associate yourself with.
Sure.
And you just don't talk to those guys.
Yeah.
There's a good core group of guys back there that we got good relationship with, and it's the way I see it, especially a sport like this, because we're competing against each other, but I'm not going out there and it's like me versus you, like one-on-one, mano-a-mano, like wrestling, like that's different. Then I'm not talking to you at all. I'm actually going out there trying to make you like quit. You know what I mean?
Right.
This is like football. Like there is a wrestling. Like when I went on the mat or we're setting up, like I'm looking to kill you. Like it was a fight without punches. Like when we shook hands, like I don't give a shit who you are. This is a little different because now what are you gonna do? Go fight the weights?
Oh, I see.
You know what I mean? Like you're just picking up weights.
So it's almost like there's some competitiveness amongst the athletes, but you're competing against what you're picking up.
Yeah.
So that's probably where your focus is more. Than.
So it's a little different in terms of like I don't know. They might not tell you like, oh, the stone's lopsided. That might be their competitive edge on you or whatever. But
there's lopsided stones.
Oh hell yeah, dude!
Really?
You think those weights are perfect?
Well, I mean, they look round.
They look nice. Yeah, but no.
Except for the flat bottom, they look round.
I think that's what it is. But for the most part, you're cool. People are cool. Obviously anything. I mean, just being. I'm not really gonna trust anyone but like direct family more than anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we're there competing, so there's gonna be some kind of camaraderie, especially if there's like an event that we're all doing and like no one's getting a lift and one dude gets it's like, damn dude, congrats, you did fucking something that we all couldn't do.
Yeah.
But for the most part, everyone's kind of cool.
Tell me how much you know about. I know he came to like the first battle at the Alamo City, but the dude that makes the sticks and stone stuff,
Dave.
Yeah,
like he's a fucking idiot. No, I'm just kidding.
He's got a cool job, man.
Yeah, he's cool.
I've been following him on Instagram, and I know he made a lot of stuff for the Shaw, and he looks like he's got a sweet gig.
I would never tell it to his face, but he's one of the coolest dudes I've ever met. Just a genuine dude. You know what I mean? I think that's the other thing too, because he played offensive line in college. He played at Louisiana Tech. So we kind of have that like kind of bond that we played offensive line together.
Okay.
That we understand the position, but the same thing. It's like the unsung hero. Like it's like the AC. Like if you got a good offensive line, no one's gonna say shit. But you got a bad offensive line, someone's gonna say something. So it's like you got your AC's working, it's expected, right? But as soon as your AC breaks, then everyone's pissed. It's a problem. Off. Yeah, you know what I mean. So that's how the unsung hero, especially the kind of work he does, because he's not going out there and like. It's not his face.
Is he a one-man band?
Yeah, dude. He does all that stuff. And he's got a shop there. And I don't know. I'm not too familiar on the history of it, but he lives out in Houston. And I think he's got a nice piece of property. And he's got a like badass workshop on there where he just comes up with this. So his background is strength conditioning. Like when he was at school, that's what he was going to school for. And then I guess like just jumping, like, because when you're in college sports, there's no job security at all. You know what I mean? Like, especially if your head coach gets fired, then if he doesn't like you, then you got to find a new job, right? So I think out of like just wanting to settle down and not being like hopping all over the place, he just like hunkered down in Houston and was like coaching, like personal training. I think this all could be wrong too. So.
We're gonna pretend like it's super accurate.
Yeah. But he started making equipment for Strongman, and a lot of it started with like grip tools, so you could like attach like a can to a weight, so you could see how much you can pick up on a can, or he's got these different like pinch grip stuff, and so when I first met him, he made replica Husafelt stones, and the Husafelt stone is this stone that's in Iceland, that's 409 pounds. and it's basically a gate to keep sheep in a pen that's made of rock.
Oh,
and so the folklore of the story is that this farmer's daughter, I think, again could be wrong, would pick this thing up and walk around the pen and put it back, a 409-pound stone. So it's this feat of strength, as if you can pick up the stone and walk around it, you're considered a man or whatever. I don't know. So that's, that's strongman. So Iceland's got a big presence in strongman, so they started using an event.
Well, back in the day, Magnusson was the man.
Yeah. So, I mean, so you got Maggie, and you have Hathor Bjornsson, you have John Paul Sigmarsson. These are all Icelandic guys that have won World's Strongest Man. But anyway, so, this event's kind of iconic. And so Rogue one year for the Arnold, made a replica of it, to the T, carved it out of the same kind of stone, all this kind of stuff. So he went up there and was like, I can make a mold for it. So he made a mold for it.
Is that why it's the shape that he makes?
Yeah, because
that's cool.
So he made a mold so you could have a Husafell stone in your house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To train with, and so it's made out of concrete, and so that's where that sticks and stone comes from. It's not sticks and stone; it's stick and stone.
Stick and stone.
Yeah. So he would just start making this stuff, and he's just a master craftsman, dude. He knows how to make shit, and it's crazy, and he's got all these badass tools, and we'll for Metal Mayhem, hey, we need this piece of equipment. Can you come up with something? Yeah, he'll come up with something. And
it's impressive because I used to work with a welder, and I like building stuff too. But what was the thing you were doing the farmer's walk with at the Shaw? This massive wooden box. You know what I'm talking about?
Frame carry?
Is that what it is? The frame carry?
Oh, yeah.
Just the material to fucking build that thing is way bigger than that massive thing that he built. So for a guy to be able to bring this material in, work with it, and create something, I mean, for one, if he's doing it by himself or even with somebody else,
strong, dude.
He's a strong guy, but he's got to be super intelligent to know how to manipulate the raw material to make what he's looking to make, because it's big shit.
Yeah.
It's not like it's 2x4s and 2x12s. No, this is
legit
massive.
You know what's crazy? Here, give him more shout outs. I talk a lot of shit to him.
Yeah.
We go back and forth a lot. So me saying nice things to him is kind of
weird.
But so the first event at World's Strongest Man was nickel stones, Denny stones. I don't know. One stone's 250 pounds, the other stone's 300 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
And you have to pick them up in these rings, and you have to walk as far as you can, right? That's the event. He made 3 pairs of these stones, and they are all the same exact weight.
That's impressive.
I think
that's hard to do.
I think to be able to call a plate 45 pounds, like a regular barbell plate, you have to be within, I don't know, a pound of 45, right? Which you can have a 44-pound plate, but it's still going to say 45. It can be 46-pound plate. It's still going to have 45 on it. I think that's what the standard is, right? Yeah. So then you get calibrated plates, and I think the standard goes down a lot more, right? But there is still a variance that's okay in a calibrated plate. That if it's 55 pounds, it might be 55 and a half pounds or 55 or 54 and a half pounds. You know what I mean? There's still a variance that's okay in a calibrated plate. Dave made 3 sets of stones, all 250, all 300. The big stone was 300 pounds exact. The small stone was 250 pounds exact. And these are stone made out of concrete molds. It's fucking wild.
That's crazy, man.
So the attention to detail dude puts into his stuff is sick.
Nuts.
That's crazy.
And so he did that event for World's Strongest Man. He built those big ass timber loading frames for us to load the stone over.
Oh yeah.
At Strongest Man on Earth this year. He's building something else coming out in a show we're doing later. I can't give too much detail on. But the other thing too about what he does is since it's his work, he goes to the show And he says when he's watching people use his event, he's just shitting bricks all the time because he's like, oh, please don't break, please don't break. You know what I mean? Because his livelihood's on it. And even the show that we judged last week in Dallas, me and Nick went up to judge. He made loadable, those nickel stones, Denny stones, where you can put plates at the bottom of them, but the tops are like built like the rocks. So it's like you're getting a rock feel, but you can load them to whatever weight you want it. He went up to the show to make sure his equipment was still doing good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then, like when he shows up to these shows, the dude's like there to help. Like
when he came down to Metal Mayhem, it's like he's picking up shit and moving it, and he was like, I like to watch people from a distance when I first meet him. That's just the way I am. Seemed like the nicest fucking guy.
He is.
And I mean, he was super helpful, and it's like, those are the kind of people you want to hang out with.
He's a good dude. Yeah. No, it's just, I mean, that's just like when you think of someone that's from heavy metal and you want to associate yourself with, like anyone at the gym, because Tim and Michelle have offered like their shirts off their back for people. It's like, you know, I see that and I want to strive to be like that. So when you see someone like that, it's like you're just automatically connected to them and like family. So when he showed up and was like, yeah, I'm here to help, not just to drop off his equipment and say, hey, thanks for the cash, here's your shit, see you later. It's like, you need a genuine person like that. You want to keep him around. So, you know, it's wild. And he's a good dude, and which is, like I said, it's hard for me to say because we talk a lot of shit to each other. No, but it's funny because he'll go in the back. Like when I won the Shaw Classic last year, he goes, you got a 10-point lead. If you keep this 10-point lead, then I'll buy you a case of beer. But I didn't. So he didn't buy me a case of beer. But same thing at Strongman and the Earth this year. Like he's in the back. He's helping out Strongman and Earth. They got him working back there, make sure the equipment's good. Like he's moving weights. He does it for local shows, not just like he does it. Like I said, he's doing there. So he's a good dude. I got nothing.
What's his name again?
Dave. I don't know how to say his last name.
Dave of Stick and Stone.
Stick and Stone.
So the event that's coming up, you going to the one in Vegas too?
Yeah.
And that's in September
28th.
So is that one just a straight deadlift?
No, so it's 5 events.
Okay.
It's more entertainment, I would say. I mean, don't get me wrong. At the end of the day, it's competition. Like I'm going to win. But the main event is the deadlift. So when Eddie Hall broke the 500 kilo deadlift was at this event.
And that was 1,100, right?
Yeah.
1,100 pounds.
Yeah, 11
for American speak.
1102.4.
Yeah.
Is that the most anybody's done, or has somebody broken it since?
Well, it was only one in competition.
Okay.
Thor broke the record, if you want to call it a record break. He didn't do it in competition because of COVID. He was planning to do a competition. COVID happened. They shut it down. When you're peaking for an event like that, just because the world stopped doesn't mean you stop, kind of thing. So he still put it on, but it wasn't under the competition settings.
Oh, gotcha.
So he broke it. He did 501.
Okay.
Which is 1107 or something like this. So it's add another kilo.
I like that we look at him for the math.
1104.
Well, that's the kilos.
Yeah.
It's commie math.
It's like 2.2 pounds. 2.25 pounds is a kilogram.
So
okay.
There you go.
What events are they gonna have over there?
So they got the max deadlift was the first one. I'm looking to pull over 1,000 pounds.
That'd be awesome, man.
I'll be one of like 30 dudes in the world that's ever done that.
Well, you did 900, right, with no suit?
961 this
961.
last week.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. So like you look at the guys that Hathor Bjornsson won the deadlift 992. Mitch Hooper pulled 996. Me and Bobby Thompson tied at 961. The guy that took fourth pulled 940 something. Like
it's a lot of fucking weight.
It's just wild. Like I'm amongst these dudes. You know what I mean? Like when you say the best deadlifters in the world, like it's kind of hard not to say Austin Andrade right now. You know what I mean? Which is wild to say.
That's awesome, man.
So we're gonna go pull massive deadlift. This one we're gonna pull in a suit though, which helps you a lot, depending if you know how to use a suit. So that's why I'm looking to pull over 1,000 pounds. I pulled 915 for 3 on Monday.
Were you in a suit or no suit?
Yeah, I was in a suit.
For 3? 915? Jesus.
And then there's a circus dumbbell.
That's a lot of weight.
that big ass circus dumbbell. There's a circus dumbbell for reps. They call it the wrecking ball hold, where you just pick up this wrecking ball and you're standing on this platform and and you hold it as long as you can.
You did that in Europe, right?
So we're doing that one again. It's a cool event to watch, but doing it, oh my God, it sucks. Because like you think like people are like, oh, your grip, because you're holding on to something. No, it's your back. Like your back gets torched from it because you're trying to stand tall. So your glutes are on, your hamstrings are on, your upper back's on. I could care less about my hands. Like my hands are the last thing I'm worried about. I'm worried about like shaking and not falling over because you're basically holding a static 600-pound deadlift for as long as you can.
Yeah.
We'll do the car yoke, so we'll run with the car on our backs, and then the classic stone series.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What is your big concern when he's going to a competition like this? Do you have any, or are you just prepared for whatever?
We just kind of prepare for whatever is going on. Usually the lead up is where we're the most attentive, so we'll see how he's feeling. If there's any aches and pain leading up to the show, then we'll kind of figure out if those are things that we need to deal with right now, or if we can save them till after the show and just kind of keep it band-aided up. And then that way, whenever we get to the show, if there is something aching, we already know how to bandage it, so it's not going to be an issue. But most of the time for these competitions, everything leading up to is making sure that it's feeling good and A-okay. And what's crazy is that since we started working together, we were doing like 3 days a week at first, and now we're doing sometimes
once a week.
If that, sometimes it's once every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's just not feeling good.
Yeah.
You got me feeling good. Our single-handedly is dude's taking away knee pain away from me.
Really?
Yeah. So I started developing knee pain 2 years ago, and so anytime I would like go to press and I would get in like a quarter squat position to press something, I would just get nasty pain right on top of my patella tendon, and to a point where like I would get to that spot and I'd feel like my leg give out just because the pain was so much. And so I was telling him about it, and he's like, "Oh yeah, your hips are fucked up." And so he started stretching my hips, and I was like, "What? I feel normal again?" Like this shit was wild.
He's told me that. He's told me before. I think the last podcast we did, he talked about, if something's hurting in one spot, it's potentially coming from somewhere else.
Yeah.
And I went to his office the other day. Well, I say the other day, but a while back. And I remember him saying, "Well, let's see where you're at." And it was funny because I laid on his table, and he's like, I was kind of on my elbows, and he's like, "Are you planking for a reason?" And I said, "No, I'm trying to ease into it." And he's like, "Okay, well," and he's real calm, right? He's very patient. And he's like, "Okay, well, take your time." He said, "Just we need to get you lay flat." And I said, "All right." And so I was kind of like, "Fuck it, let me just do it." I was like, maybe it's in my head. I'm freaking myself out. And so I start to like push my elbows out to lay flat, and I fucking got a spasm from between my shoulders to my upper ass. And I mean, it just fucking seized. And so I started crying. I was already sweating like crazy.
You blame the tears on the sweat?
I was my eyes are sweating. And so I got up. I just pushed myself off the table while everything was tight. And so I was leaning on the table, bent over, and I looked at Ryan. I said, "That's where I'm at." And he's all, "I see."
It's like, all right, let's get a chair.
Yeah. Let's try something different.
So I mean, it's interesting how sharp he is. He's a smart guy, and it's just nice that when to be able to have access to people that can go, "Hey, your knee hurts, but your fucking hip's fucked up."
Yeah.
Because
nice.
even as something as simple as the compression sleeves. Yesterday wearing those, it's like this has been something that I've been dealing with for a long time, and it's funny because like it dawned on me the other day, and I'm slow, man. I'm slow to the game, but it dawned on me the other day because I was like, I was thinking, man, I'm so out of shape right now, and I'm like, well, it's because all my shit hurts. And then I was at work taking a leak the other day, and I was like, no, dude, you're in pain because you're out of shape, and in my mind, it was just a mentality of, hey, this is what's going on. It's like, no, in actuality, this is what's happening.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, well, it gets to the point where it's kind of like, okay, well, if my shit's instantly seizing up and getting tight, it's kind of like it's difficult to even get started.
Yeah.
You know, yesterday I wore the shit. I was like, I hadn't felt that good in my knees and ankles in a long time, and it was just getting blood the fuck out of there. You know, and
you know what's wild about you say like how things are like little things compound on you, like Ryan being like you. I didn't know it was a missing key into some of my training, or into my training, like having someone that experienced with like body work and stuff like that. But like Tim got me strong, right? He still get me strong, but I haven't felt this good. Like, I was a week off of the show and I pulled 915 for 3. Like, that's not supposed to happen.
Yeah.
Like, you do a show that heavy, that intense, like, your body needs that time to recover. But I was like, the end of the week, I'm like, dude, I don't. He's like, how you feeling? I was like, I feel fucking good, honestly. Like, this is wild. Like, because usually after shows, I would be out. Like, we'd always have this, like, minimum, we wouldn't touch weights for a week.
yeah.
And now it's like working with Ryan and just kind of having a better understanding of nutrition. And now it's like, well, maybe I don't need a week now. Maybe, I can come back to, which we learned a little bit from Worlds, right? Remember the oblique thing?
Yeah.
So I didn't realize how much Worlds took out of me, because that was the toughest thing I've done. But I went back into training a week later. And I went to
scared the shit out of me.
I went to go load a stone, and this is Ryan's on call too, that heavy metal too. So I went to go load a stone, and I felt my oblique pop. And you don't realize how much time you use for an oblique, or what you use for an oblique. I couldn't laugh, I couldn't cough.
Yeah.
I couldn't. Everything hurt, and so what did I say? I texted you, right? It popped. I laid down. I crawled to my phone. I texted him and I said, dude, this is not good. I think I tore my oblique. He was you were at a different thing.
I was at an event, and I was going home. I was like, on my way, I was like, I'm just going to chill out. And then all of a sudden I see my phone pop up, and I was like, what's this? And I expected him like to say this happened the other day. And he's like, no, right now. And I was like,
it was bad.
All right.
I couldn't move, man. I was like,
everything's at your core. So getting up, sitting down, everything.
So I go in there, and I'm like expecting to see him like leaned up on something, just being like, yeah, this sucks, hurts. He's on the ground, just like dead.
Really?
It was bad, dude.
Yeah.
I thought
it took him like 10 minutes to get down the stairs into the office.
So
Damn.
He gets me in. He runs some tests on me, like to see if I torn it, and nothing's coming back good. Like what he's doing, he's having me do, all right, brace here, and he would jolt me in a way, and like the same way like a doctor would if like you've seen him like when you tear the MCL and they're like moving the knee around. He's doing that for my oblique, and he's like, this doesn't look good. And I have a show, like I had Strongman on Earth in like 3 months, and it's like, dude, he's like, yeah, an oblique tear is like
a year.
No kidding.
Yeah. It's like, oh shit, right?
So what'd y'all do for it?
This is the only man I let touch
Witchcraft?
me like that.
So we did a lot of like PNF, or not PNF. We did cupping, scraping, his favorite things, right? And then
has he done that to you?
Just the cupping, not the scraping.
The scraping is fucking horrible.
Yeah.
There's no other words to use but that. But I mean, at the end of the day, you feel good. But he takes this rod that's got a beveled edge. Only beveled. It's a 90 on there.
Yeah.
And he's like scraping my lat. The worst one's my lat when he's like
it's light pressure though. It just feels like a lot of pressure.
It's like he's physically taking the first layer of skin off.
Damn.
And his move. You feel great afterwards. Well, anyway, so we're doing scraping, cupping.
Well, we'll do cupping, but a lot of times too, we were doing like rotation for the oblique. So firing that muscle up with those cups on to help kind of with that negative pressure, and it helped relieve some of the symptoms of the strain, and so that way we could get more blood flow to the area, so that way it could recover faster. But we were thinking it was going to be like an 8-month recovery process, like for the first few days.
Yeah.
How long did it end up taking?
I was back to work in a week.
Really? That quick? And at 100%? Or did you kind of ease back into it?
I eased back into it. But
was it 100% within like three weeks?
For sure.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
No. Which, I mean, from an oblique strain, which is like... Because the other thing, like, if you tear or you hurt a bicep, just don't use the bicep, right? Fucking put in a sling. Don't.
Well, you can't do that when it's your core.
You can't do that. So like, just getting out of bed, you're using shit. Fucking taking this shit. You're
wiping your ass.
Yeah, like everything you're using it. So it like, okay, you repair it, but then you're using it so it's not recovering as fast as you would like it to.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, we were back up and running and through. And
that's awesome, man.
That wouldn't have happened. Like, if that would have happened, I probably would have been done. I probably would have had to call out of the show. Like, because that's not. Yeah, it doesn't happen like that.
Well, that's huge to be able to save that event for him, because at the end of the day, that's a means to a livelihood. I mean, you got a job, but I mean, this is your other job.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like it's one of those things where I think when you're a professional athlete, you've got this window of time to perform at a high level, you know, and when something interrupts that, it just makes your window shorter, you know, so to be able to help him recover so that he can make it to that event and then be able to make it to other events and be invited to other things. I mean, to be out a year or maybe even 8 months,
might kill a career. Yeah.
So, I mean, that's fucking huge, man.
It's not, it's a team. Like, there's a team aspect behind it. Yeah, Tim, obviously, the training side of things, getting me ready, making me the strongest I've ever been. Like, that's a big one. But like I said, the missing key, when I started working with Ryan, this shit just, you just like, you kind of get to a point where like, okay, this is as strong as I can get. You're kind of like, damn, this is like, nothing's really happening, kind of plateau. And then you add something like this, and now it's skyrocketing again. Yeah. It's been wild.
It's a whole nother,
and it's
another level.
Yeah, so like even the deadlifts I did on Monday, he didn't work on me because I just felt great. I didn't think I needed it. But after doing those 2 workouts, I'm like, okay, hey, like you talk about the Band-Aids, like just to get past the show, like I've been having issues with my forearm, so my forearm started flaring up again. I can't what else I said, but so he's like, all right, well, you know, I'm like, hey, this started happening again, so all right, we'll just get working on it again, whatever. But like Tim's side of things, like I don't plan the weights I do. Tim watches me lift, and then he goes, all right, this is the next number we're gonna hit. So I did 800 pounds for a single, and he said, that shit moved like you had an empty bar. And so he made a 90-pound jump or 80-pound jump, whatever it was, to the 915. That was the next set I hit for 3.
That's crazy.
And so, like, it's the team that I have. Like, if I didn't have these people in the right spot, and then talking about someone we didn't even bring up, Nick, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, as a whole nother side of things, like the training partner aspect of keeping me accountable. You know, you can only go so far with yourself, but if you don't surround yourself with the right people, it's like impossible to do anything. But yeah, that's what I'm saying, going back to like pretty good rookie year, going from World Strongest Man finalist to top 5 of Strongest Man on Earth. And it's...
What time frame's that been? Been a little over a year? 2 years?
No. Well,
it hasn't been very long.
World Strongest Man was in May.
But you did the Latino one.
That was last year. That was just, Ryan wasn't there. If Ryan was there, I probably would have won every single event, like going into that show.
That's crazy.
It's crazy to think about, but
yeah, it's gonna be an interesting year then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next year's gonna be. And what's crazy is like I hate putting shit out there, like in terms of like calling shots. I don't like doing that because I've been in sports way too long to know like you don't call shots unless it's for sure but for sure shit doesn't happen in sports. But like in terms of world records and stuff like that, I can see myself going for a world record in a year or 2.
Really?
Which, if you look at guys that have have done that and where they're at in terms of career-wise, like, it's nuts to think that I'm around that.
You've progressed really quick.
Well, you know what?
And so is Nick too. I mean, Nick's progressed really quick.
Nick's see, all right, because this has been a 6-year process.
Yeah.
So in terms of like what people seen in terms of real quick, yeah, it's popped off real quick, but it's also a culmination of.
But I mean, even in my ignorant opinion, 6 years isn't much. You know, I mean,
it was a lot of work in 6 years. Well, I think that's where I think I'm a little like, well, it wasn't quick because there was the dog days where it was.
Well, this is kind of how I see it. You know, you got 6 years. Let's say we're just gonna call it 6 years. And yes, there's a lot of work and there's a lot of grind, but outside of that, there's exposure. There's even just getting invited to things, performing well at those things. You know, there's a handful of competitions throughout the year. Being able to stay healthy for all that. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot outside of just being in the gym, pushing weight and recovering. You know, there's a lot of other little things that have to happen. You know, I can't remember, and I may be lying, but at one point, wasn't somebody out of an event at one of the major events, and you got invited to it?
That was happened last year.
Well, I mean, shit like that has to happen. Yeah. You know, and it's like like Ryan's opportunity in Denver. You know, in Colorado, it's like there's so many things outside of what you're in control of that has to happen for you guys to start hitting this other level. You know, and now you get to a certain level and people go, oh man, now he's got experience in this. You know, he's got exposure to this. People like watching him perform. He can show up and do it. You know, now all of a sudden you may get invited to more things more frequently because you've proven yourself. Mm-hmm. But there's this weird little thing where it's your work and it's your effort, but then there's the little things that just the weird shit that has to happen to let the doors open. Mm-hmm. You know, and in my ignorant opinion, in 6 years for that to all those things to line up and to put you guys where it is, it's pretty fucking fast. Man.
It's quick.
I think it's one of those things where it's the more consistent you are, the luckier you get to.
That makes sense. Yeah,
just putting yourself in the right situation right there.
That makes sense.
But Ryan works with normal people too.
Well,
so use him.
I know he works with really fat dudes too. So, or he watches them cry. Well, hey, let's go ahead and get this thing wrapped up. We're already pushing 2 hours. But Ryan, where can people find you? Tell people everything that you do, and if they need your expertise, how can they get a hold of you?
So if you want to get a hold of me, you can get me on Instagram at mobilizebeast. We also have. I'm always at Heavy Metal, which I don't know the address of. It's off Military Highway, though.
Google it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just got look up.
I'm in the office.
You should be following him on Instagram already anyway. Yeah. So,
but that's how you can get a hold of me. I work with athletes. I've worked with volleyball players, MMA fighters, strongman, figure skaters, sprinters, track athletes. I'm working on one right now that's at West Point, which is cool.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
So, work with general population as well.
If something hurts,
and we can definitely work on it.
You don't need surgery. You'll figure it out.
Yeah. And so the Instagram's the best way to get a hold of you?
That's usually the easiest way, just because you can see the work that we actually do. And then on top of that, too, we can always set up an appointment through there.
And that's Mobilize Beast?
Mobilize Beast, yep. Okay.
And what do you got coming up? Who's some of your sponsors, and how do people see you?
Oh, Jesus. Check me out, Smash Andrade on Instagram. I'm actually coming out with my Tex-Mex shirts again.
Cool.
We're also making a new shirt, Smash Goes Boom. That's a new catchphrase that I got at Strongest Man on Earth.
I saw that one.
But I've been yelling boom after a big lift for a long time now, so it caught on. That was kind of cool at Smo. Nick Eisman, or the guy that does Ninja Warrior, American Ninja Warrior, he was there announcing, and he's the one that got the crowd to do that.
That's cool.
That was good, yeah.
I'm going to come up with the Smash Goes Boom t-shirt. That's coming out soon. Mario's actually working on the design right now. And then sponsors, SPD. That's the big one right now.
Yeah.
Ryan, obviously. Heavy Metal, Evolve. You got to check them out. Those are all my Strongest Lawyer. He's my lawyer.
Yeah.
I just don't pay him.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a sponsorship.
He's on retainer.
He's on retainer for nothing. No, he's the one that I always send my contracts to after I sign like a dumbass.
Yeah.
I said, hey, check it out. Is it okay? No, check me out, Smash Andrade on Instagram and see the big stuff I'm lifting. I got the Giants Live World Deadlift Champions coming up in September 28th. If you want to make the trip out to Vegas, it's there. That's probably one of the few times besides Worlds and Strongman Earth that I'll compete in the States.
Okay.
I think I was pretty blessed with how many competitions you have that are super local this year.
Yeah.
That's cool. Like Myrtle Beach, Colorado, Vegas. I'm like, I don't have to fly.
Next year might not be like that. Yeah, because some of these other shows that I want to get invited to are across the pond, as they say. So,
I got my passport, so.
Did you do your raffle already?
No, we got to do that. So go tag your name on my post on Instagram. That'll get you tickets to the show. You still got to get to Vegas.
Right.
So, which is kind of cheap. The flight direct out of San Antonio.
What day are you holding that raffle?
So I have to announce the winners the 9th.
Okay.
Yeah, the 9th. So,
the 9th?
Yeah.
Okay. So I need to get on this podcast and get it out pretty quick.
There's a lot of people.
I bet there is.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm gonna have to do that randomizer thing to find out who's gonna be the winner.
That's cool, man. Well, that's exciting. Well, fellas, I appreciate y'all getting up so damn early.
Hell yeah.
I'm going back to bed. Yeah. Thank y'all for coming out. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Gabe Molina Podcast.